has the patience to comb over this stuff? Bart Ehrman? I could imagine that basically only Bart Ehrman would. Hey gang, welcome to Joel Reads Bible. I'm Joel, and I read the Bible so that you don't scots to. And here we are reading Exodus. We're almost done. We're on the home stretch. We're at chapter 36, and it only goes to chapter 40. So I'm going to finish it tonight, and we'll be moving on to Leviticus. I don't know, some other book called Leviticus. Earlier on in this book, we had to sit through a bunch of chapters describing how to make the Ark of the Covenant or the testimony, the tabernacle, and all sorts of other things like that, and it was excruciating. But now, unfortunately, they have to actually make the things. They actually have to build them. So I'm worried that we're going to actually have to listen to them do that too in real time. Why? Just say, and then they did the thing that God told them to do on the mountain. Why don't you just say that? Come on, you guys could just say that. But anyway, we're going to get right into it. We're here at Exodus chapter 36. You guys should be subscribing by now. My subscriber count has grown, and I'm grateful. So grateful. Also, to everyone that leaves a comment or likes the video, very helpful, very kind. I really love you for that. Thank you so much. With that being said, let's get right into it. Exodus chapter 36. So Bezalel, Oholiab, and every skilled person to whom the Lord has given skill, a little bit redundant, an ability to know how to carry out all the work of constructing the sanctuary, are to work just as the Lord has commanded. Then Moses summoned Bezalel and Oholiab, and every skilled person to whom the Lord had given ability and who was willing to come and do the work. It's just like two verses back to back that say basically the same thing, more or less. It's like God's going to call the people that are going to be able to do stuff. So Moses got all the people that are going to be able to do stuff. What's the third verse going to be? And so there they were, all the people that are able to do stuff. It's like, can we just be a bit more concise? I am going to rewrite the Bible. At this point, I think after I'm finished reading it, I'm going to rewrite it. I'm going to fix it. And one of the things I'm going to do is shorten it quite a bit. Just take out a lot of the useless stuff. And I'm going to add more blood, believe it or not. I'm going to make it a little bit more fun, more bloody, more disgusting. Because as much as there is quite a bit of that, you can always use more. I'm going to make it a real horror book. It's horror. The genre, I would say the genre is horror. I digress, believe it or not. They received from Moses all the offerings the Israelites had brought to carry out the work of constructing the sanctuary. And the people continued to bring free will offerings morning after morning. So all the skilled craftsmen who were doing all the work on the sanctuary left their work and said to Moses, "The people are bringing more than enough for doing the work the Lord commanded to be done." Oh, they're so generous. They're so generous. I wonder what's compelling them to do this. I mean, these are free will offerings. This is just out of the goodness of their heart. They're like, we are going to freely give some stuff. And don't stone us. Please don't have our brother or our friend or our neighbor come with swords and slice us up to death. God, please don't. Here's a free will offering. Please, don't stop sending manna or have us stoned at the base of a mountain or have us killed with arrows, Lord. Please don't be angry, God. Here's a free will offering. I think you guys know what I'm saying with that. Then Moses gave an order, and they sent the word throughout the camp. No man or woman is to make anything else as an offering for the sanctuary. And so the people were restrained from bringing more, because what they already had was more than enough to do all the work. Hey, they're not wasteful. That's what I like. That's what I like about it here. It's just like, guys, we've got enough. Relax. You don't have to bring more. We don't want to. It'll go to waste. Hey, I know you got more red thread. We don't need it. You keep that goat hair. You keep the goat hair. I don't need more goat hair. Why would I need more goat hair? That's crazy. I don't even know why we're using goat hair. Yeah, no, yeah, I'll take a bit more gold. But other than that, no more yarn, all the other stuff, we don't need it. We've got enough. All the skilled men among the workmen made the tabernacle with tent curtains of finely twisted linen and blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, with cherubim worked into them by a skilled craftsman. All the curtains were the same size, 28 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. They joined 5 of the curtains together and did the same with the other 5. Then they made loops of blue material along the edge of the end curtain in the one set, and the same was done with the end curtain in the other set. They also made 50 loops on one curtain and 50 loops on the end curtain of the other set, with the loops opposite each other. Then they made 50 gold clasps and used them to fasten the 2 sets of curtains together so the tabernacle was a unit. We don't need you to repeat it, okay? We know what they're supposed to do. We know what they're supposed to do. We don't need it reiterated over and over again. We don't need that. This is boring, guys. I apologize for this, but we are going to. Okay, we gotta get going on this chapter. It continues, unfortunately. They made curtains of goat hair for the tent over the tabernacle, 11 altogether. All 11 curtains were the same size, 30 cubits long and 4 cubits wide. They joined 5 of the curtains into one set, and the other 6 into another set. I'm rapping at this point. They made 50 loops along the edge of the end of the curtain in the one set, also along the edge of the end of the curtain in the other set. They made 50 bronze clasps to fasten the tent together as a unit. Then they made for the tent a covering of ram skins dyed red, and over that a covering of hides of sea cows. I still don't know what sea cows are. I'd love to know what access they had to the sea and sea cows. I don't know what they mean, but it's interesting. And honestly, I don't know if it's actually interesting or if it's just interesting in light of how incredibly dull this chapter is. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you think something seems a little bit interesting, but it's just because you're so bored out of your mind that you're like, well, yeah, I guess anything would be interesting right now. So like, are there sea cows? They made upright frames of acacia wood for the tabernacle. Each frame was 10 cubits long. Why did you tell us about this before? Why didn't you just say, and he gave instructions for building a tabernacle? We will tell you what those instructions are once we build the tabernacle. I know I'm the broken record, but they keep doing this to me. And I can see moving forward, the ark, the table, the lampstand, the altar of incense. They're going to tell all of the same stuff again. Why? I don't even know if there are any contradictions because I can't pay close enough attention. It is so boring. But does the Bible want to have contradictions? Like if we were to study every piece here, like the tabernacle here, does it match the tabernacle written in the other chapter? I bet you it doesn't. I bet you it doesn't. But who has the patience to comb over this stuff? Bart Ehrman? Each frame was 10 cubits long and a cubit and a half wide, with 2 projections set parallel to each other. They made all the frames of the tabernacle this way. They made 20 frames for the south side of the tabernacle and made 40 silver bases to go under them. 2 bases for each frame, 1 under each projection. For the other side, the north side of the tabernacle, they made 20 frames and 40 silver bases, 2 under each frame. They made 6 frames for the far end, that is the west end of the tabernacle, and 2 frames were made for the corners of the tabernacle at the far end. At these 2 corners, the frames were double from the bottom all the way to the top and fitted into a single ring. Both were made alike. So there were 8 frames and 16 silver bases, 2 under each frame. I genuinely, for a second, peeked over to see that I'm not just rereading the early chapter. Because I know that this is, verbatim, basically. I don't know what it's saying, because I'm just reading words at this point, but I know I've read these words before. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They also made crossbars of acacia wood, 5 for the frames on one side of the tabernacle, 5 for those on the other side, and 5 for the frames on the west at the far end of the tabernacle. They made the center crossbar so that it extended from end to end at the middle of the frames. They overlaid the frames with gold and made gold rings to hold the crossbars. They also overlaid the crossbars with gold. They made the curtain of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen with cherubim worked into it by a skilled craftsman. They made 4 posts of acacia wood for it and overlaid them with gold. They made gold hooks for them and cast their 4 silver bases. For the entrance to the tent, they made a curtain of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen, the work of an embroiderer. And they made 5 posts with hooks for them. They overlaid the tops and the posts and their bands with gold and made their 5 bases of bronze. Okay, that's over. It's over. It's over. This was garbage, and I'm sorry, but at least it was short. We sped through it, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to probably speed through the next one. We're going to get to the end of Exodus, and we're going to get into something fascinating and thrilling. Leviticus. Oh, no. Guys, thanks for joining me. Please subscribe, even though this probably wasn't like the best chapter to ask that in. Like, people are like, why would I subscribe to this? It's not my fault. I'm going to read the good chapters too. It's not like just, this isn't Joel reads the boring parts of the Bible. Like, I read chapter 32. Exodus chapter 32 was amazing. If you haven't seen that, go back and watch that episode. That's one of my favorites. Can't wait to talk about it more in the recap. Yeah, but this is absolute garbage, and I'm sorry I had to read it to you. But listen, subscribe, like the video even though you didn't, and leave me a comment commiserating with me over how horrible this was. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.